I use a free add-on in Blender called Landscape. To enable it, just go here in Edit, in Preferences, and here in Search bar, hit Landscape. Go here and you will see here Landscape. As you can see, we have this model here, but we don't want it like this. So I go here and I select, where is it? Canyons. Now we have this model like this, but we want to put the logo here in the center of this, so I must change the seed, the random seed here. I found number 5 is the better way to make this empty space here in the middle. Leave it here in subdivision to 128, or you can increase this. As you increase the subdivision, you have a better result, but it's used more GPU memories. So if you have a slow computer, you can use it just with the default setting. Now I go here and I add a text. As you can see, the text is bigger. So I select the landscape S and I scale it up. Now we have a bigger landscape. So Control A and apply the scale. I disable this landscape for the moment. Select the text, make it in the center, and go here in geometry and I extrude it, maybe like this. I give it a little depth, and this I make it in 0. Now hit tab and hit your logo or your name or any text you want. So here I hit logo, hit tab to close. Okay. Now I enable the landscape. Now S and I scale it down, G, Z up, just a little, like this. So I think it's better like this. Now right click, convert this text to mesh. Why? Because if I leave it just like this, if I go here in object mode, we have just edit mode. To access to sculpting mode, we must have this as a mesh. So right click, convert to mesh. Now if I go here, now we have a sculpt mode. Select this brush here and go here and decrease this number, just give it 5. It's good. Now I uncheck the landscape, and now we can start to add some imperfection for this text. We want to give it this rocky look, so take your time and go slowly. Don't worry if it's not perfect. Just take your time and make it imperfect like this. So I start with the first letter and I go to other one. So I speed up this part. Okay, now I go back to object mode and I check the landscape. Now as you can see we have this logo like this. So GX and I move it here. I make it in the center like this. Okay, now I add a cube. We will make it for the water. So S Shift Z. We want it to scale it just in the Y and X axis, just like this. Now G Z down, just to cover a little this. Okay, now we are finished with the logo. Maybe the logo GZ up, make it up like this. As you can see, it's easy to do. So now Control Alt Numpad 0 to active the camera, and we choose our angle. So we leave it like this. Now we start to give all this thing the materials. So I select the landscape first, hit new, click down here in principled BSDF, Control Shift T, and I search for texture that I downloaded from CG Ambient. If you want to make it with the same texture that I make, download this one. I leave you the link in the description. So now hold Shift and select the first and the last to select all the textures. Now here, if I hit Z to go to render view, now we have this texture like this, but it's not perfect. We will fix it that in a moment. Just select the logo, give it the same materials. Now select the landscape, go to edit mode, and here in UV, select project from view. Maybe I select this one, project from view bounce. So I think it's good. After we will fixing this with the sky texture as a light. Let's give it all this the material first. So I go back to object mode. Now I select the logo, but the first for the logo, Control A, apply the scale. The cube too, Control A, apply the scale. Now select the logo, go to edit mode, hit A to select all, and go here in UV and select smart UV projection. We will see how it look as. So I think it's good. Maybe not. So I go here in UV, I select project from view. Now it's better. Now select the cube, hit new. Roughness down, and go here in transmission, make it in 1. And the specular down in 0. Okay. Now I add a mix shader. We want to mix this principled BSDF with a transparent BSDF. So I go back here in shader and I select this one, transparent BSDF. Now connect a mix shader like this, and now make a transparent BSDF first in the second, and this one in the first shader. Now you can add the color that you want. So I make it green like this. This one too, I give it a green color. Now in vector, select bump connect normal to normal and add texture. I select noise texture. Connect factor to height, just like this. Now decrease this, give it maybe between 0.2 and 0.3. Now Alt T to active mapping and texture coordinate. So I connect object to vector here. Okay, now you can increase a little this roughness up. And now I go here in world properties to enable sky texture. You can see here this little yellow point. Click down and go here and select sky texture. So I increase this maybe just a little like this. Now we can see the water better. It's better. And they change the sun rotation until I see the water but with a little shadow. Now I select the cube, GZ up. I wanted to see it more. Maybe it's too much like this. Maybe the rotation. Play with this until you see a good reflection of the water. You can see here the index of the water. I give it 1.33. Now I go here in add, here in input, select light path. And select camera array and connect it to factor here. Okay, now we have this look like this. We can change this here. So I think it's good, and select camera. Now let's see how look as. So I go here in render. I render one image to see how look as this landscape with the water. As you can see, it's easy to do. Maybe I make it a little dark. I go here in color. I select RGB curves and they connected here, and I decrease. So I think it's good like this. Now let's render this image. So I think it's better like this. This is how look this logo. If you like it, like and subscribe. So if you want to watch more videos like this, watch the video in the end.